So we have added a really prominent hard light into the mix, which was meant as an accent light. Now we need to use some kind of a light blocker or light gobo to really turn it into a light pool or light puddle. We just need to drag the viewer's eye into a certain portion of the image to create a bunch of pools of light. That is what we need. So let's create something that would block the light, a plane, for example. I'm scaling it in such way so it can block a portion of the light coming in from the sun. And just in case, to avoid the unnecessary light spill, or rather light bounce, I'm creating a new material and assigning a black color to it. Also zeroing out the specular component just in case. S to make it bigger. G to move. What I'm trying to do here is constrain the area of effect, or rather area of influence of the sun lamp, so it turns into a little stream of light. Trying to find the right placement of the blocker. Shift D to duplicate it and move it over to the right side to leave a really small opening in between these two blockers. Now we can move this entire construction around to effectively shift the position of the light beam. I'm trying to avoid this beam touching the main mineral. I want it to be super soft, illuminated just with our key light. And in order to further tweak the shape of the opening, I'm using Shift-D shortcut to duplicate the blocker once again. And you can see how moving it around affects the shape of the beam. Now the stroke looks alright. We can add some light texture to it. Now I'm going to simulate what is called a light gobo or a light cutout. This plane will serve as a base. I'm tabbing into the edit mode, creating a bunch of subdivisions with the help of the Ctrl-R shortcut. Then selecting everything with the help of the A shortcut, right-click and subdivide everything a few times until the wireframe becomes fairly dense. Something like that. Control space to escape from the full screen mode, and then head over to the modifiers tab and select the decimate modifier. I'm going to use a fairly obscure way of rotating the geometry, so I'm selecting the unsubdivide mode and upping the iterations to 1. Now we can see that the geometry got rotated by 45 degrees, I believe. Yeah, 45 degrees, right? Now it's just a matter of throwing in the wireframe modifier and adjusting its thickness. We have effectively created the light gobo, and we can play with the light texture by adjusting the size of it. It's not super intuitive, but we can also control the harshness of the shadows by moving this object closer or further away from the light. Or I should have said closer or further away in relationship to our subject. Aside from purely aesthetic function of breaking up the light beam, this light gobo serves the purpose of hinting at the environment. Is it some decorative part of the blinds that is throwing such shadow? It tells something about the environment itself. I'm placing these objects into the sun blockers collection, just to keep things organized. And so this is our accent light. A stroke of compositional interest and a puddle of light at a higher intensity. There was nice and soft window somewhere, now there is a sunbeam striking through. Awesome! Generally speaking, one of the functions of lighting is to tell more about the setting, about the environment. The lighting choices you make help to hint at the environment properties and to ground your set into some kind of an ambient narrative. Such details as the light beam scattered through the leaves and hitting the table, the window shades, the color temperature even, all of those hints help to motivate our lighting setup and to ground it, even though we don't see the environment directly.